everybody, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Nwabi, and as per usual I am here to Nwabi on this beautiful evening. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming to this video. Please do not leave without subscribing and pressing the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, please follow me on all my socials at Nwabi Ngoqo _ Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, yonke into. Thank you so much, and let's get into this video. Today is another Beauty and the Binge, and this time we are binging La Casa de Papel, otherwise known as Money Heist. So, if you're interested in knowing my thoughts, my review on what I think about the series as a whole, do not change this video because this video is for you. If you haven't watched Money Heist, I'm sure you want to know what is the hype all about. Don't worry about my weirdness. It will come into understanding and fruition when I am done with the complete look. And for everyone who knows La Casa de Papel, you know that red is the vibe. Anyway, if you see me looking down a lot of times, I am either one, looking into my mirror and seeing what I'm doing, or two, watching the first episode and looking at the YouTube video that is giving me somewhat of a tutorial on how I achieve this look that I want to achieve today. So let us get started with this. Where I'm gonna go through the first episode, share my thoughts, share my comments, and try as much as I can not to give everything away, because La Casa de Papel is 4 seasons in, and we are going to have a 5th and final season coming soon. I'm not sure if I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year. The 5th and final season is coming through, and so I thought, let me actually do this because we are in quarantine, honey, and we have not come out. So you definitely want to find very binge-worthy shows, especially on Netflix, because it is a platform with a whole bunch of different things. Also, guys, you guys aren't suggesting what I should do, and if you are, you're suggesting a lot of Netflix things, which makes me assume that you all have Netflix. So I am sure this is not a foreign platform for you guys. So let me get started on this episode. We get started with this series, and we have this girl who wakes up in a very red room. I don't know why the aesthetic of this room is very red, but she wakes up in a very red room, and she has this gun because she's having this flashback of whatever. And it turns out this girl, his name is Tokyo, who's the main character, who's basically narrating the story for us, and she got in trouble with the cops because she went and robbed a bank, and she is a most wanted bad bitch in history. So we get introduced to Tokyo, and she's on the run basically because she robbed a bank with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend died in this bank robbing, and she's basically gonna tell a story of how everything came into fruition, or everything started. Guys, I'm looking very, very weird, and I know my foundation is light, but it's basically for this look. So Tokyo's on the run, and Tokyo is a very sentimental person and a very emotional person. She's very, what am I gonna say? She's very impulsive, and the things that she does based on her emotions, like she really acts emotionally. So she ran, and she's going to leave where she is. I think they are in Spain. I think this whole thing is set in Spain, and she's going to leave, but she calls her mom first, and turns out her mom has got the cops at their place. So the cops at her place, and she's talking to her mom, basically saying goodbye, and her mom is like, no, come say goodbye face to face, because I really can't have you leave just Jane and Jan. And that's how we get introduced to Professor, which is one of the other characters. So I'm gonna be going through the series, and I will mention the characters as they appear in the first episode. So Professor warns Tokyo and is like, dude, like if you want to go to your mom, and if you want to go meet your mom, you definitely walking into a trap, and you don't want to do that. And she's like, how do you know this? How do you know that I'm walking into a trap? How do you know my mom would never do that to me? And Professor is like, okay, it's one, you can decide. One, you will go with me because I have got a plan that will make you a lot of money. Or two, you go to your mom, get arrested, and basically spend the rest of your life in jail. So she decides that she is actually going to go with the professor. By the way, while Professor is saving Tokyo, he basically promises her and says, I've got a job for you, and in this job you will make a few million rands. I forgot how many millions. I think 250 million rand, like literally million, okay, no, not rands, but millions of dollars, like money. Basically, you're gonna make a lot of money if you come with me, so you definitely want to come with me. And this is where Tokyo is very intrigued and is like, okay, I'm going with this strange man who stopped out of nowhere to come and save my life, you know. Also, by the way, guys, this is a Spanish series. For those of you who do not know, it's a Spanish series, but it is also dubbed in English on Netflix. By the way, if you watch Money Heist, Elite, Locked Up, or any Spanish series on Netflix using English, I think you have to reevaluate your life, because number one, that is so uncultured of you, you know, like joder. That is very much uncultured of you. You definitely should not be watching that in English. And second of all, it has English subtitles. Even though they're speaking Spanish, it has English subtitles. So you definitely don't need to be watching it in English, guys. Honestly, how do you even watch something that's dubbed in English? Honestly, I would get so annoyed. But I definitely think that for a better experience and for you to enjoy Money Heist a little bit more, it's better if you watch it in Spanish with English subtitles. And I know it's very irritating reading subtitles, but trust me, it's definitely helpful and it is so amazing. Anyway, Tokyo goes with Professor, and that's where we meet the rest of the cast, right? Because Professor has planned this big heist, and this is where we meet the cast, and they're at this big house in some sort of island. I forgot this island in Spain, but they are in some sort of island, and they are at this big house, and this is where they are going to learn of the plan of Professor to make them all this money. And in this sequence, or in this thing where they're getting to plans, this is where we meet the rest of the character when they come up with names. So Professor is all about, as I did say, Professor has got a little bit of issues when it comes to socializing. So he has this plan that, look, for this all to work, we can definitely not be personal with each other. So he comes up with rules, and he's like, rule number one, we cannot be personal. Rule number two, we cannot know each other's name. In case anything happens, no one can snitch on the other. And rule number three, no interpersonal relationships. So that's what I'm saying about Professor is very anti-social, and he's not about personal relationships. So he has all of these rules, and that's where they come up with city names, because they're like, let's have a way in which you can name each other without using our actual names, so that if ever one of us were to get arrested, no one can snitch on the other, and no one can say the other person's name or whatever. So it's not known who they are, because this is all part of the plan. So that's when they come up with the names, and we meet the characters. So start with Berlin. So Berlin is the gangster. He's legit. Like, he's legit a gangster. He's a bank robber. We literally get profiles of these people in this naming sequence. I love this introduction, because it's a very interesting and great way to introduce the different characters. You will see that these people's real names are blurred out, not iced out. It's blurred out because we're not shown who their real names are, because we are going to know these characters as their city names. So we meet Berlin, and Berlin is a big time robber. He's gonna be the leader in the operation. And then after Berlin, we meet Moscow. Moscow has also been a bank robber and was arrested, and Moscow is a miner, so he's gonna be very important in this operation. Then we get to meet Denver. Denver is a seriously crazy little stupid one. He's really like unintelligent, but I love him because he's got a great personality. And Denver is also Moscow's son, and he's in the operation. He's like a person who is very angry, and his anger issues aren't in check. So he's in the operation because Moscow said, yeah, nah, he's not gonna do this operation without his son. So that's the only reason why Denver joined this operation. Other than that, he wouldn't be here. But Moscow was like, not without my son, honey. And Moscow is like father goals because he's like, I'm not going anywhere without my son, babe. So this is happening. And so that we meet Denver. Then we meet Rio. Rio is like the tech whiz and the one who's going to be very important because he's good with the computers. And he's also Tokyo's love interest. They're basically the reason why everything goes to shit. Tokyo and Rio already. Then we meet the twins who are Serbian, which is Helsinki and Oslo. And they're basically the meat of the operation because obviously we need meat in this operation. And we meet Nairobi. I love her. Love her. She is my spirit animal. Nairobi knows how to make fraudulent money. Like she can print money basically and make fraudulent currency, and she is very good. So she's basically quality control honey in this operation. And Nairobi is literally the best character on Money Heist. And then we meet also Professor. So Professor is a ghost. No one knows him. He hasn't updated his ID in years. Like no one knows who the hell he is. So that's how we meet the characters. And in this meeting or classroom, whatever, professor's talking about a plan on how they're gonna make money, and they ask the question, what are we robbing? And Professor says, we are robbing Royal Mint of Spain, and the Royal Mint is where they print money in Spain for banks. And that is how the start of the series is. So it's a really great build up because it had me interested in what is going to happen next. So they get started with this plan, and Tokyo's basically narrating the plan, and she's ironing out how everything must happen, how they must overtake the car, how they must do things exactly. So whilst she's narrating all of this, there's also side stories. Money Heist, there's also side stories. On the side, there's a person who's taking a pregnancy test. On the other side, a school bus is going to this Royal Mint of Spain that is going to be robbed. So in this side story of the bus thing, we see this girl who flirts with this guy. It's like high scholars route. They're going for a tour of that Royal Mint thing, and this girl is gonna play an important role in this heist, right? So they go to the bank, and Nairobi and Tokyo separate from the rest of the gang because their part of the heist is they have to somewhat figure out a way to get capture this girl. It's gonna come into fruition that this girl is actually some ambassador's daughter, so them capturing her is very important, or it's a very important plan into this heist. In this story, the side story I must say that there was a person who went and who was taking a pregnancy test. It turns out this person is actually Monica, and she is one of the important characters as well in the story. And she is pregnant with Arturo's child. Arturo is the manager of the Royal Mint of Spain. So Monica is pregnant with Arturo's child, and it turns out that Monica is actually the side chick of Arturo. Arturo is the most irritating and most annoying person in this whole series. Like, he is so annoying. I was hoping he dies. I was like, oh yes, one rule that Professor had was that no one kills anyone. No killing of hostages, nothing, because it's very important to Professor that in the eyes of the public, they, even though they are robbers, they are the heroes of the story. I look so weird, but that is not important. They are the heroes of the story. So I was just hoping that someone just like shoots Arturo, because Arturo was so annoying. Arturo is the manager of the bank, and when Monica tells him that she is pregnant, he has the worst reaction ever. He like literally freaks out because Monica is his side chick, and he freaks out and he goes on about how he's basically infertile because getting his wife pregnant was so difficult, and Monica must be Shiva, the god the god of fertility, because how in the hell does she get pregnant so quickly? And within that reaction, imagine your man is telling you that, how the hell are you pregnant, babes? Like, what the hell is going on? Why are you so pregnant? In the middle of your bad reaction as to your who your man is telling you this, we are robbing this bank, man. This is happening. Your life is about to be over. That was literally one of the funniest, craziest moments of the whole heist, because like, it's so random. Arturo is basically like swearing at Monica and stressed the hell out because he's like, so what do you expect me to do? To leave my wife for you now? Like, what do you want me to do? Because as much as I was complaining about my wife life, I love my wife. And then next thing you know, there's guns in your face. Shut the hell up. By the way, Professor is not in the heist. He is outside of the heist, and he's running things as the man from outside. And this is very important that he is outside, because he plays the behind the scenes, and he is, as much as he is the brains of the operation, because he is the brains of the operation, he's the brains of the operation, but also he is also the eyes and ears on the outside, so that the people on the inside are not lost. And they're in the bank, and they've opened the vault with money, and this is where things kind of take a wrong-ish turn, because according to Professor's plan, it's that they must make this robbery look like a robbery gone wrong. And so they must take the money from the vault, and they must go outside when the police comes, and they must start shooting blanks at the police, or not really blanks, but they must start shooting at the police as if they were trying to escape with the money. But the gag is they were not, and that is where Tokyo is a mess. Basically, that is where Tokyo comes and ruins things. If you watch the series, you'll know that Tokyo is basically the ruiner of everything. She literally comes and messes things up so much. She's so annoying. She's literally so annoying, because she's always coming to mess shit up. They look weird. This is not turning out the way in which I thought it would turn out. But this is where Tokyo breaks the cardinal rule. And this is why I'm saying Tokyo is kind of a mess, and she acts upon emotions, because in this part, they were supposed to go out and shoot at the cops and drop the money bags as if that they are robbing the bank and it's a robbery gone wrong, and now they have to hold hostages. And the gag is, that was the actual plan. The plan was to make it look like a robbery gone wrong, because what Professor wants to do is he wants to print money, and that is where he is so smart, and that gets revealed in the following episodes. But Tokyo broke Professor's cardinal rule. She went and fell in love with Rio. Professor's cardinal rule was no interpersonal relationships. And in this, Professor also doesn't tell them that the cops, when they are shooting, making it look like a robbery gone wrong, the cops are going to shoot back. So the cops shoot back and a bullet hits Rio. Remember, the rules were no killing anyone, no interpersonal relationships. The cops shoot Rio. I think the bullet hits Rio's bulletproof vest or whatever, but Tokyo sees a little blood on Rio and she reacts. She starts shooting at the cops, and not shooting at the feet, because the instruction was shoot at the feet of the cops to make it look like a robbery. She starts just shooting at the cop, injuring a cop, which is already putting them at a disadvantage public wise. And then she tries and saves Rio. This is where I'm saying, oh, Tokyo literally doesn't think when she does things. She just reacts. She really literally reacts. And that's where the first episode ends. And everyone is like swearing now at Tokyo, like, what the hell? How dare you do that? But when Tokyo sees that Rio is actually still alive, everyone freaks out and is like, dude, like, you shot a cop. How the hell do you do that? And that is where the series ends. The first, not the series, lol. That is where the first episode ends. And it ends at that point where the money is like flying away and it looks like a botched robbery. And that is what gets the series started, and that's what intrigues us. I am not going to even lie, I was super intrigued. So I watched Money Heist a little bit late. I watched Money Heist when season 3 was released. So season 2 was out, season 1 was out, and people were talking about it, but I was like, ugh, I don't even really care for this, right? And then I watched season 1 and I was super intrigued. I was very interested in knowing what else is going to go on. And a lot of people say that Money Heist is very much overrated and it has so many plot holes and it doesn't make sense. How does the professor know this is gonna happen? But if you think about it, they've been thinking about one thing and been planning one thing for 10 years. Like 10 years is a long time, guys. So if you've been planning and thinking about something for about 10 years, you are definitely going to think about many different angles. Also, let's not forget, this is fiction and this is a TV show. Of course, it's not going to be making sense fully and logically. You're going to be understanding this is not based on a true story. It's literally TV. Like, it's a TV show, guys. Like, what are you expecting from a TV show? But I actually enjoyed the series. I loved it. I mean, like, you would think that, okay, shit is gonna go wrong, and then boom, plot twist, things are going right. And I ended up being on the side of the robbers. It's very hard for you not to be on the side of the robbers. It's actually very difficult for you not to be on the side of the robbers, because the way in which they tell the story, they tell it in a way in which you are on their side. And I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed the series. It was a good series and it was a well-written series. I know that you're gonna enjoy it. Is it overhyped? No. If you haven't watched Money Heist, definitely put yourself on. Remember to watch it in Spanish, lovers, in Spanish, honeys, because if you don't watch it in Spanish, you are the problem. Other than that, guys, I would give this series, I think, about an 8 out of 10 in my rating, because there are some iffy problems here and there, but it's really not something that I would be like, I'm not watching this series ever again type of vibe. And since we are in quarantine, honey, you can definitely check it out, because 4 seasons long is quite a number of episodes, and you can definitely binge. I would probably finish all 4 seasons in but I would, for personal reasons, I'm not going to rewatch season 4. I went through the most in season 4, but I'm not going to spoil that for the people who haven't watched this series. So I would probably take about 2 weeks to finish all 4 seasons, but that's because I am a binger at heart. So if you have watched the series, please tell me what you think of it. If you have not, do check it out and tell me what you think of it. And if you've not, why haven't you watched it? Tell me in the comments, guys, what you think about my review of the series. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let's have a conversation in the comments. And thank you so much guys for tuning in. This is my final look. I was going for the Dali mask. I feel like my brows are perfect. My brows are not Dali mask perfect, but they're like perfect. My mustache is a mess, but I was going for the Dali mask. I'm gonna put the picture of the Dali mask right here to show you guys what I was going for with this look. What do you guys think of it? Please comment down below. Thank you so much for tuning into my review, Beauty on the Binge of Money Heist, and follow me on all socials. Until next time, guys. Bella ciao, putas.
Una mattina mi sono alzato, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato